Can a $120 golf simulator compare to a $25,000 or even a $100,000 golf sim? Let's see. All right, today we're obviously comparing the $120 golf simulator that I have, $25,000 one, and the $100,000 one. Obviously, today we are comparing the $120 golf simulator, the $25,000 golf simulator, and the $100,000 golf simulator. Now, I've made videos on all of these simulators individually. I just wanted one video to actually get it all together, one video, compare it side by side, and let you guys kind of get your opinions on it. So obviously we're going to start with the $120 one. When I bought it, it was only $100, so it was a little bit cheaper. It's just the only one that I have here in the apartment. It's a one-time fee, so it's not like you're going to have to, pay an annual subscription, a monthly subscription like the other one. I really do want to break this down into three categories: features/abilities, the accuracy, and then the cost overall, whether it's buying it outright or you have to go rent it somewhere. Starting off with the first one, $120 is obviously the cost. Today, obviously it's going up. Very easy setup with the cost. What you get, the mat that you get, you've seen. You get a tripod for your phone to go on, and that's it. You get the app on your phone or your tablet, whatever you're using, and that's all it is. I mean, you don't need any sort of net, anything like that, because there's no ball, which I think is a huge aspect of this. I mean, I'm in an apartment. I'm not on a house. So the fact that I can, take full swings in an apartment, not have to worry about, putting dents in the walls or marks or anything like that is a huge advantage. In terms of features, it's definitely not as much, right? There's, I believe, 3 or 4 different courses that you can play. Only, I think 3 9-hole courses and then a 3-hole course. That's okay. And then you obviously have the driving range section. You can, just get your ranges on the balls. Only issue and a huge downside of this is it's only irons and wedges. You're not putting, you're not driving, you're not using anything on a tee. It is 9 iron. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then sand wedge, pitching wedge. That's all you get. So no hybrids, no woods, no drivers, anything like that. Nothing that revolves around a tee, because the whole point is that you use like the sequence that are on the actual thing. You hit it and it kind of shows you where it's going. That being said, because you're not actually hitting a physical ball, the accuracy of it is not, I'm not going to say it's not good. I would say it's relatively fine, especially when you get into tricky shots. It's just not that great.
What am I, the Avatar? What was that?
I'm going to recognize the fact that there's a huge jump from 120 to 25,000. I know that there are loads of golf simulators and launch monitors in the range of, 200 to 2,000 that I could have done. Here's what I'm going to say. We get 1,000 subscribers on the channel. I will buy one of those simulators and do a full review, compare it to this one and the other ones. And let's just get the channel to 1,000 subscribers and we'll be able to see that. Simulator 2, look, the $25,000 one, we're going to be talking about the TrackMan 4. I say it's $25,000. I only say that because that's usually what it goes for on their website. But it also has, it's $1,000 a year. Sorry, $1,100 a year software subscription. Look, this is just not something that we're buying as an average consumer. If you have the $25,000 to put this in your house, plus the $1,100 a year to pay for the subscription, just live somewhere warm. This is not, I wouldn't say this is for somebody building something in their house, right? I will say this is the groundwork for all things commercial. If you go to a simulator bay or anything like that, renting it, this is essentially what you're paying for. And based on my experience, I have a lot of experience with TrackMans and rentals. I used to work in a golf store. I used to rent out the bays to people. I used to let people, test out clubs in it, stuff like that. I have a lot of experience with TrackMan. I really do love TrackMan. It's a great company. They have some great stuff. They have other stuff besides golf. Again, it's not something that I would put in my home unless they came out with a personal one, but I don't think they're going to. Commercially, yeah, I would say this is the standard. But what comes with it is really just the simulator itself, right? You have to buy the mat and the the screen that you're hitting into, you then have to have a full on, environment to hit out of, which is completely fine when you're going to rent it in commercial spots. So from what I've seen, used to sell and also used to, will still go play at, they're renting out around $60 an hour. You might find some place that's a little bit cheaper. They might have some deals, but usually it's like $60 an hour. I don't feel like you're getting everything you need out of an hour. If you're going by yourself, yeah, you might be able to get all your distances or maybe even play 9 holes in an hour, no problem. I just feel like that's rushed. I feel like you got to rent it out for 2 hours if you really want to get everything you can. So looking at $120 for every time you go out, it's just expensive. Again, might be a huge pro to having just paying $120 one time and you getting a very basic simulator to hit out of your apartment. But that being said, I do think it's very much worth going out every once in a while and going to a simulator, both the $25,000 and the $100,000 one, because the accuracy is insane. You're paying for the accuracy. We might get some mishaps on the one here, but those are very accurate. The $100,000 one is even crazier, but the accuracy doesn't differ that much between the TrackMan and the At One. All right, and we'll kind of get into why that one's so much more expensive. In terms of affordability, it's affordable, right? You're essentially paying for a round of golf every time you go rent it out, but you're definitely not going to just buy it outright. And accuracy is insane. Features, there are thousands of courses that you can play on these things, right? It's not like you just have 5 to choose from. Here are just some of the courses that I found on the TrackMan website, right? Pebble Beach, PGA National, Oakmont, Bethpage. I mean, there's loads. You can go outside of the US, you can go in Japan, you can go everywhere you want. Yes, you are paying a little bit more. You're paying literally the price of the other simulator every time you go out for 2 hours. But that being said, the features are far superior. I mean, you're obviously not going to touch that on a at-home simulator all the time. This is going to go for both the $25,000 and the $100,000. Both of these simulators are not just golf, right? It's not just playing holes and also being on a range. They also come with mini games, right? It's very fun when you talk about, oh, well, I'm kind of sick of just hitting balls. How about I bowl with my golf ball, or do target practice on a giant dartboard and play darts with my friends. The fact that you could be so creative with golf and do so many other things while just hitting your golf ball and getting better, it's fun. It's definitely a new experience that they're bringing in, and I love it. I'm here for it. The moment you've been waiting for, the $100,000 golf simulator. We've already done a video on it. It truly is incredible. The specific company that I'm talking about is GolfZon, GolfZon, South Korean company. Huge improvement. And I'm not even really saying specifically from the golf sim perspective, more of just the setup. When we take that price jump from $25,000 and we multiply it by 4, we aren't getting better graphics or better courses or anything like that, which there's a slight improvement on that. What's really happening here is the whole system of the ball retrieval. You don't have to walk to the screen and grab your ball and put it back on the tee or anything like that. It pops right out of the ground. Like it's ready for you already. And not only that, but when you get to a simulator and you're playing 9 holes and you hit on a hill and then the floor moves underneath you to match that hill, I mean, that's just real practice that you're not going to get from a $25,000 simulator. And the ground is moving. So this is the first indicator that I wanted to talk about, is the screen mat is raised up because of how we are actually positioned. So the front corner is higher than the back. Those are just simulators, but this is a full-on recreation of golfing indoors. This is honestly incredible. And obviously the prices, we're not buying this outright, just like the other simulator. But when we get down to renting these ones, the ones that I go to are the same price, if not a little bit cheaper than the other one. Again, that's based on the company and where you go play. But the ones that I go to is $60 an hour during peak hours, but then $50 an hour for your non-peak. If you go in the middle of the week at noon for lunch, you save $10. And I don't see that with other sims. or other places of rental. So it could just be that. Obviously, check wherever you live and around there. But I would say this is a huge improvement. When we talk about not just the fact that the ground moves, but they have different turfs to simulate how we're hitting. One thing that I might not have mentioned with the TrackMan is when you hit in the sand, it obviously alters the output in terms of how you're hitting it, right? It might give you 25% of the power when you're hitting it. So it looks a little different. It does still simulate sand and hitting out of the rough. This one does the same thing, except there's an actual turf piece right next to where you're hitting that you can put the ball in, and you will feel how it actually feels to hit out of, the rough or on the sand or, fairway sand. It's very different. That is honestly such a huge aspect of why this is so expensive and why this is so much better for people. Me personally, haven't hit golf balls for, a few months, and it's the middle of winter. If it's November or December and I'm like, I haven't been outside. I live in Pennsylvania. It's pretty cold outside. I'm going to go to one of these. A, it's the same price to rent. And B, I get a lot more practice in a lot more real situations than just hitting on a flat mat every single time. But that being said, they book up really quickly. When they're high end like this, same price, it's going to be busy. You got to go during the non-busy times. You got to go when not normal people are. Luckily, my job, I get half days throughout the week. So I get to go in the middle of the day, which is really nice. I mean, that's really all we can really talk about when it comes to it, right? The accuracy is absolutely insane. It uses infrared, it uses cameras, it's slow motion, everything that the normal simulator does, just like the TrackMan. But really, the ground moving is just insane, and we'll obviously throw in some clips here. Oh. Final opinion, I feel like you really do get what you pay for. Obviously, we're not going to be spending thousands for independent use. But guys, thanks for watching. Over here is going to be a link to the last video. Over here is going to be a button to subscribe. So we'll see you guys soon. Bye.